Hey guys, it's Brittany here, and I just wanted to make a video explaining my van life experience that I had for a year, where I lived and how I was able to make it manageable. So I van lifed from April 2016 until like March, April 2017. I started off in Illinois, and it was a weird time that I started because my lease was ending, but I still had two or three more months of teaching left to do before I could really head out and find a better location for van lifing, because you do not want to van life in Illinois. It's not the funnest, and I actually had to, and I will share that experience. My van wasn't like fully complete, and so when I started my van lifing experience, I was still building onto that. Then there was still snow on the ground because it's the Midwest and the winter lasts forever. I was living in the college town that I went to college for, even though I graduated 3 years prior to living there, and it was such a great town. Like, a lot of my friends still stayed in that town, so I had a ton of friends still in the area. And so when it was too cold for me to van life, I couch surfed, and I had a main friend that I stayed with who stayed with her boyfriend a lot, so she's like, just crash at my place, like hang out with my cat, keep it company, you're more than welcome anytime. So that's kind of what I did on the nights that it was too cold. And then on the weekends, like, I would go more towards the Chicago area to visit my other friends and my family. And I didn't have very many days that I needed to stay in the van, but I really did want to experience van life in Illinois, so I found a campground that was halfway between like my social life and where I was living to where I was working. And this campsite was awesome. I got so lucky, and they usually just have, most campgrounds have like a flat like monthly like fee or like weekend fee or whatever, and I knew for a fact I would not be staying there every night, and it was actually kind of pricey. So I worked out a deal with them, and it came out to only $10 a night. Like, any night I wanted to stay, I would just let them know and I would give them $10. I know that other campsites also, or campgrounds, you can work with them if they need extra help. You can say like, hey, I'll work this many hours if I can stay here for free or for a discounted price. So I know that that's another option. They didn't need the help, so we kind of just worked out a price that was able to work for both of us. And I only ended up staying at the campground for maybe a week and a half out of the month. Like, I was so busy like hanging out with my friends and family and trying to spend as much quality time with them before heading out on my road trip and finding a new state to live in, to where I didn't have to stay long enough or very often at this campground, which I was kind of sad about because this campground was beautiful, and they gave me a parking spot right next to the bathrooms, and the bathrooms were like the biggest surprise. They ended up being individualized with their own shower, sink, and toilet, that you just go in, lock the door, and you have complete privacy, and you felt really, really safe. So you go in at any time, and since it was right next to it, I didn't even feel scared to like walk to it in the dark, and it was just a really nice campground. Not sketchy. Like, I would not stay at a sketchy campground. And if your heart's telling you that it's not safe, like, do not camp there. Just don't do it. Follow your intuition with that, because that is the number one thing I can say to do with living the van life lifestyle, is just definitely listen to your gut, and if you're safe, then you're safe, like, typically. So that's what I did. And so it came out to be not even like $100 a month, and I was paying, in my 2-bedroom apartment, I was paying like $700 a month. Like, so I was saving a lot of money. I was able to save up for my road trip and not be stressed out. I was able to have like a lot of financial freedom. And benefits of being a teacher is you can set up a plan that you get paid through the summer. So I was actually getting paid through the summer and saved up quite a bit, not having to spend all that money on rent, and I was ready to go. I did plan on doing my road trip solo, but thankfully my best friend was able to join me. So again, I had a partner, and we just decided on where safe places were together. And some of those places were rest stops. You really have to kind of scope things out and see if you want to stay at that rest stop. I know that there's like, oh, rest stops are so dangerous and scary. Like, we stayed, like 50% of our like nights were at rest stops, and I am still living today making this video for you. So I would definitely disagree. I think social media really makes things a lot scarier than what they are. And so rest stops, national forests were a big one that you can just find like any place that's open, any pull out, and do that. Really, really awesome places, especially out by the Grand Canyon area. And then the one that we were like, oh, if we didn't have a rest stop to stay at, or we just didn't want to park in a random spot, we would find church parking lots that were kind of like tucked away and to where like you couldn't see the van unless you actually went into the parking lot. So yeah, we had to drive and, you know, be little detectives, but we ended up finding really nice spots the whole entire road trip. I don't think there was a single place where we were sketched out or like terrified to go to sleep. Some nights were colder than others, but that is about it. And so on the road trip, if we didn't have friends or family to stay with, that's where we would stay, and we ended up being just fine. Amazing experience, best time of my life. I would definitely suggest doing a road trip if you have never done one. Get yourself a van and do it. Or a car. Car works too. And so then after the road trip, after the 2-month road trip, I decided that I wanted to live in Oregon. And I decided first to live in Southern Oregon, but I didn't have any expectations. I didn't have anything planned, and I ended up finding it to be more suitable living in Portland. I had a few friends that owned a house in Portland, and they were like, just stay in Portland, like hang out with us. Our driveway area is public, is open to the public, and so it was kind of like a driveway, but it was a parking lot, and it was only big enough for like 6 cars, and majority of the cars are theirs. And they were like, yeah, just park here. And then I ended up paying them $100 to use their bathrooms and their kitchen. So I really had all the amenities I needed. I had my tiny home, and then, you know, if I needed a bathroom in the middle of the night, or if I wanted to cook a warm meal, I had that all readily available. Or if I just didn't want to stay in the van, I didn't have to. I wasn't forced to. It was something I definitely really did want to do. But again, too cold to stay in my van. I did not think it was going to get this cold. It was actually one of the worst winters in forever here in Portland, and I was forced out of my van. I just could not. I get cold way too easily. It's not even cold right now, and I have like 3 layers on, and I'm still like, I could put another layer on and be fine. So my van was not insulated enough for me to be a champ and stay in it throughout the winter. It got really cold here. And thankfully, a person ended up moving out of the house that I was parked at, and they were like, yeah, just move into the house for the winter time. And so I paid rent for a couple months. It ended up being a little bit more than I wanted to pay. And I began dating someone when I first moved to Portland. It was just fate that we found each other and we fell in love. And he was doing van life with me. Like, he had his own place, but he chose to like really get to know my lifestyle and would choose to stay in the van with me. And then like nights where we wanted to stay at his house, we'd stay at his house. But it was really, really awesome that I was able to find someone who thought it was incredible that I was doing van life and wanted to experience it for themselves. So those people are out there. Hopefully, like, if you're doing van life, like, you can still find love. So prove that to be right. But I was staying with him like every night in the wintertime, just because that's the way it worked out. And he was like, why are you spending all this money for a place that you're not even staying in? Like, move your stuff back into the van and just stay with me. Like, you can pay me the $100 that you were originally paying them. And so that's what I did, just because I just felt like it was logical and the right step for me. And some people, that wouldn't be the right step for them, but it was for me, and I felt like that was what I needed to do, so that's what I did. And I just kept my stuff in my van. I had my own place to go if I absolutely needed to. The guys that I was staying at before was like, if you ever needed to stay here, like, you can stay here too. So I had a lot of options, even though I had just moved to a new city and created a whole new life for myself. You just have to be open and ask for help and get yourself out there, explore and adventure and make new friends, meet new people. And that's exactly what I did, and everything literally fell into place. It was mind-boggling. Even, you know, my friends that I like was staying with were like, holy cow, Britt, like, we've been here for a few years now, like, you made friends so quickly. And I just would go out by myself and meet new people, and I ended up finding my tribe. And so for the next few months, that's what I did. I moved back into the van and like stayed with my boyfriend at nights. Like, I got a gym membership, so I didn't even use his like bathroom. I tried still doing van life as much as possible because that's really what I wanted to do. And so even when he would go to work and I didn't have work, like, I would wake up early, I would go to the gym and you know, shower there and then do whatever I wanted to do. I have a lot of hobbies and things that I like to do, and so I stayed busy, and when he wanted to hang out, that's when I would come over, and then I would just stay the night. So I felt like I was still doing van life. I still had my own place. and I did it to the best of my ability given the environment and the factors that I had to deal with. And so it is warming up now, but things have changed. My van life experience definitely changed my perspective. I don't regret it at all. I love it. I tell anyone and everyone, if like they want to try it, just try it. Like, that's the worst thing that can happen, is that you sell it and you get back in to a home. Like, that's the worst thing that can happen, literally. And so I'm not even getting back in a home. I just wanted like a smaller vehicle. I wanted it to be more gas effective and like efficient. And I will make a whole different video on why I chose to go from van life to car life. Like, I'm doing car life now, and there was a lot of reasons as to why I did that over van life. And so I can make a new video if you would like that to happen. But so yeah, that was just my experience for the year that I did van life. And my biggest factor of why it failed was just too cold for me. It was just too cold, and I did not have the money to properly insulate my van to actually make it manageable and comfortable for my living and my lifestyle. And so on to the next adventure, on to car life and doing a whole new route of minimalism and tiny home. So when I feel like sharing a video on that, when I get enough experience to talk about that, I will make a new video. If you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and keep an eye out for what's to come next. If you have any questions on van lifing, definitely put some questions below and I'll make another video or answer it on there. So I hope you enjoyed this. I enjoy making the videos. I'll continue to make videos, and see you next time. Have a great day. And I really need to invest in a tripod. I'm just doing this with my phone in the car and it's a little awkward, so I'm trying to get myself in like the full view, and so this is what you get. Yeah, it's a good hair day. Make a video, and yes, this is a good hair day for me since I don't really do much with it. So here I am. I had like one main friend. Wow. I also was raised in the South, so sometimes my southern accent comes out and catches me by surprise.